Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the short answer. I have a question for you. Do you feel like something is about to happen in your life? Like you're almost there, that it's just a little something else that needs to happen, that needs to come through, and then everything will work out and unfold in a way that we desire? Well, we're going to speak about that tonight in the short answer. And I also want to share with you that we're celebrating the short answer tonight like never before. In the last 10 years, we've been coming on once a month and giving you, trying to make it short, but I love to share as much information as I possibly can. And so it hasn't always been a short answer, but we've been doing this for 10 years. Once a month, coming in and dropping into your world and allowing you to have little tidbits of information that you can work with, think about, implement to change your life. And in those 10 years, I've gotten lots and lots of responses about those little tidbits that did have an impact and that made a huge difference for someone. And I'm happy to celebrate those 10 years with you on this episode. So welcome to the 10th year anniversary of the short answer. I also have another announcement to make about that. And that is that we are moving the short answer into a podcast. So not only is this the 10th anniversary, it is also the final episode of the short answer. So just place a little hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, gratitude, and just allow a big exhale. Because what's coming is even better. What's coming is something that will come to you twice a month, not just once a month. It will come to you maybe even 4 times a month. That's my goal in the next few months, to try to elbow room some space in my calendar to allow that to be possible, because we're reaching so many people and we want to infuse this information, this perspective, this way of living that softens life and that empowers you to know that you are the creator in your life, not the victim of other people's creations, no matter what your external world looks like. And so we want to bring that forward as often and consistently as possible. It's never been needed more, and I've never been more inspired than now to bring it to you. So I do hope that you'll plug into the Art of Awakening podcast that we are already starting, and we have episodes coming. We have a few of them that are already aired that you can go back and watch as you plug in. The link to that will be in the information space beneath you. So just know that that is a transition that's happening with the short answer into the Art of Awakening podcast. The majority of those podcasts I'll be doing directly, speaking, teaching, bringing ideas of implementation and ways that you can transform your life, ways that you can heal, ways that you can improve your relationships and your personal sense of self, your personal well-being, ways that you can become more successful in life because you're aligning with your divine purpose, ways that you begin to allow the great continuum of energy, the stream of consciousness that you actually are, to show up in your life. And we're going to speak a little bit about that tonight as well. So inside of the short answer, know that I'm going to read some notes here and just share with you all the announcements that we have, and then we're going to dive right in. All right. So we are still going to have the masterclass each month, and it is going to be at the same time as it has always been. If you want to join us for the masterclass, it is an opportunity for you to ask questions and to get feedback and to have an exchange of conversation happening in terms of anything. You can ask me anything. And believe me, the questions come from all over the place, and we tie them together and have them make sense. So it doesn't feel like a scattered, discombobulated conversation at all. It's about weaving it together so that I can show you that we all have questions and they all lead us to one understanding. And they lead us in their own unique ways. And as soon as we can start to master that disposition, we start to answer those questions for ourselves. And we start to then be able to live life from a more masterful place. So the masterclass is part of the gold membership. So you need to join the gold membership if you haven't already. So the podcast is complimentary. The short answer is complimentary. The masterclass is $15 a month. And you also have access to all of the archived masterclasses that we've been teaching for actually for longer than 10 years. And so you have a tremendous amount of information that you can binge watch and and plug into. So your first month is free, and you can sign up in the link in the comments section. All right. So also I want to say about the next episode of the podcast that's coming, the Art of Awakening podcast is going to be entitled Stillness in Motion. And it's a conversation that I'm having with Iyanla Van Sant. So Reverend Iyanla Van Sant is an amazing individual. She's a very big being. She's been through a lot. She's had a show on Oprah's network called Iyanla Fix My Life. And so she's very acclimated to cutting to the chase and getting to the nuts and bolts of what we need to do to unpack our disillusionment and truly step into the truth of who we are. So you're going to want to tune in and do be sure to like us and follow us on the subscription so that you never miss an episode. All right. So the link for the podcast is in the comments as well. I have a few special Holy Days announcements. One, there is a healing transmission later tonight at 8:30 Eastern time, and it will go for an hour. That is a remote healing session and a healing transmission that you're going to want to catch. So we're doing the short answer, then we're doing the masterclass right after this, and then we'll be into the remote healing session and the the healing transmission, all of which is, that is complimentary as well. Likewise, this Friday evening on the 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm having a fireside chat with you to glean upon the holy days. The light that is bombarding the planet at this time is truly like no other. So you have a greater opportunity for transformation right now than any other time of the year. And so as you allow for that presence to be cultivated in your life, things begin to change. So I'm going to bring us into that with another meditation that is specifically geared toward the holy days as well. So that's Friday evening at 8 p.m. And then Saturday, the next morning on the 21st, on the solstice, there is 108 sun salutations, body awake yoga that we'll be doing together to activate each of the levels of consciousness that are represented by the 12 chakra system in your body. As I'm interested in the consciousness, and I'm interested in you turning it on because it changes your body chemistry, and it changes your brain, and it changes in how you process information and the decisions that you make, the ideas that you come up with, and the ability to have it all, the ability to actually manifest and actualize the things that you dream of. So you don't want to miss that. We put you in so much repetition that it entrains the brain, it entrains the chemistry and the breath, the mind and the body sequencing together. It is putting you out of fight or flight and into a state of creative genius. So we'll see you there. All right. So those are my announcements there. I also want to remind you that speaking of yoga, we have yoga tomorrow morning. It's the first and third Thursday of every month. Body Awake Yoga is a membership that you can join, and inside of that membership, you can also access all of the previous classes that we have recorded and archived, and you can find your favorites and repeat them and get good at this. You don't have to be a yogi to begin, and there are many, many easy classes that allow you to start to learn how to consciously move energy through the body, to anchor your consciousness in the core of your system, where you can access personal power and deep wisdom and your ability to manifest and your ability to experience love much more quickly when we are embodying those principles that are housed in the energy centers, the chakra system. So all that is, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in Morter Institute. There's always a lot going on in Morter Institute, and I am always thrilled to be here with you. So I want to share with you a little bit in the short time that we have for the short answer this evening, and it's about letting it happen. So instead of feeling like you are almost ready for something to unfold, I'm going to invite you to flip that over. I'm always teaching about the quantum flip and getting you on the other side of your efforts and your struggles and your striving to have a better life, or to be a better person, or to heal something in your physical world, or in your relational world, or in your financial world, or even in your spiritual connection in some way. So what we're going to do here is point out the fact that you are always feeling like something's about to unfold and shift for you because you've built the circuits for it to almost happen. So you're constantly experiencing yourself coming up to this threshold and feeling the anticipation and feeling the possibility and feeling the potential. And every once in a while, you get super inspired and it feels extra great to be standing in that threshold. And I really want you to pause and think about, why don't I move through the threshold? Why am I always feeling like there's something about to happen? Why is it actually not happening? Why hasn't it already happened? Why am I not already through that threshold and imagining and living into that life and flourishing and celebrating the outpicturing of having it had already happened, having it feel and experience it as if it had already happened? Well, here's the truth of the matter. It has already happened. Everything is already done. It is already fulfilled. The question is, where is your awareness? Are your circuits built to perceive the completion of the project? Are your circuits in place and firing? Are your synapses wired in such a manner that they are actually holding the space for that to outpicture, for that to roll out in your life? So without you pondering, without you entertaining how it would feel in your system if it was already done, and more than just a 30-second ponder every once in a while when you're in a workshop or when you're remembering something in meditation on the weekend or whatever, however it rolls out in your life, the invitation is this: it has to be full time, because the threshold has a door on it, and that door is opened by a vibrational combination lock. You have to be vibrating as what's on the other side for it to open enough for you to move through. For you to actually be pulled through that threshold, you have to be vibrating as what's on the other side of the threshold. So if you're sitting and in anticipation, or feeling as if, it feels like something's brewing, something's building, something beautiful is about to unfold in my life, I would love to facilitate that actually manifesting in your life. And one of the ways that you have to do that is imagine, feel in your body what it would feel like if it was already done. And don't just think about it in this moment. And don't just think about it when you're falling asleep tonight. You crawl in bed, you put your head on the pillow and you pull the blankets all up and you're right there. Right there, of course, is a beautiful moment for you to be practicing this vibration. But here's the invitation: never not. Never not. Why would you ever be in any other vibration than your dreams manifested? Why would you ever be housing and honoring and living in a world where that doesn't exist, when there is a world where it does exist? It's right here. So the quantum world is really opening us up to having to think a little differently than we used to. And this is one of them. This is one of the major keys, in fact. If you will allow yourself to imagine, to sense, to feel into your dreams already manifested, how you would be being if they were. If you were already through the threshold, if that thing, and you don't even have to know what it was, but if it had already occurred, how would you be riding this wave in your life? How would your body be operating? What would the tension level be? What would the openness degree be? What would the warmth temperature be in your belly and in your heart, in your gut? What would be happening in the musculature that might even be tense right now? What would be happening inside of your life? And here's a great one. What would you be looking for in every situation? Are you looking to be agitated? Are you agitated multiple times a day? If you are, you're looking to be agitated, because it doesn't just happen to you. You're generating a vibrational reality in which agitation, or in which dreams are happening, in which agitation, frustration, irritation is occurring, or in which you're surprised and you're in wonder and awe about how much amazing beauty unfolds in your life and how much grace there is. and you would see that you're handling when setbacks occur or shifts happen, that you're fine. You just adapt and shift and you move on, collaborating with the universe, collaborating with the way things go. So you want to move through the threshold, you have to be interested in what it takes to move through the threshold. And so in order to make that job easy, that journey easy, we have to be identifying as the energy that's on the other side of the threshold so that you can literally pull yourself through. Like if I told you, you know what, tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and all those things that you've been dreaming about, they're going to happen. So how are you going to fall asleep tonight? Knowing that it's going to be there at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's going to be there. It's going to be there when your eyes peep open. It's already done. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but what if it was? What if that was going to happen? How would you respond to that news? What would happen? Oh, my God. So whatever differential just took place in your mind or in your body is evidence of how far you are from living in the realm of that being manifested. You're not parking yourself in that world. You're not accepting the invitation. The invitation is extended the moment that you have a dream, the moment that you become inspired and you want something to unfold, the moment that you can identify with it, that invitation has already been extended to you and you're finally acknowledging it, realizing it, recognizing it. And your job then is to allow it to be as true as it was before you even thought of it, because it was true. And that's what poked you on the shoulder. That's what nudged you. That's what woke you up to the fact that that could even be a possible experience in your life. Just think about it. You look through that doorway, you look through that threshold, and down that whole pathway, your entire life is waiting for you to animate it. It's already there in one form or another. All of the ingredients are there. It's just waiting for you to move through the threshold and collect these ingredients and breathe some life into them and animate as if they are actually there, because they are. And the next thing you know, you're starting to be the vibrational match to the manifestation instead of the vibrational match to the possibility. You know, years ago, we were encouraged to dream. We were told to dream. You got to dream your dreams. You got to find your dream. And when I first started hearing that, I didn't even know what it meant. So I had never let myself dream. It wasn't my world. I didn't grow up in a world where anybody in my household was saying, dream your dreams, go for them. It wasn't like that. It was like, this is what you do. And when you show up in this way, your life is going to work. And so this is what you do. It's almost like a good soldier. I would show up and be a good student and be a good citizen and become a doctor and do all these things that I kind of just perceived I was supposed to do. And I would suspect that a fair amount of that has been happening with you. And then I heard people talking about dream your dreams, infinite possibility. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And the first time somebody asked me, what would your life be like if you could have it any way that you chose and you didn't have to figure out how that would happen? I actually started welling up with tears because I didn't have any idea the answer to that question. And through my mind was running, Sue, you're running a clinic and it's successful, but you don't even know the answer to this question. And it might not even be what you're doing. And the whole thing just short-circuited me. And so I realized in that moment that I needed to allow for something to be true. And so he asked me, what it would be. And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, what would it be if you did know? What would it be if you did know? And I was like, oh, well, if I did know, I'd be teaching wellness retreats at beautiful beachfront destinations all around the world. Right. So he said, write that down. And I was like, yeah, right. Because I'm running a clinic and I've got other doctors working for me, a whole staff and a patient, a group of patients that are dependent on, what I'm doing here. He said, write that down. And so I did. And, closed the notebook, went back to treating patients. And years later, I was moving my office and I was cleaning out the drawers and I opened the notebook and it said, teaching wellness retreats in beautiful beachfront destinations all over the world. And I had to sit down because, I was leaving the next day or in 2 days for my very first beachfront destination wellness retreat, level 2 of the Energy Codes coursework. And so I knew there was something to this. So that whole world of dream your dreams and write them down and all of that is getting you in touch with the potential of your life. Now, I cannot emphasize enough that you step into and step through that threshold and embody who you would be if that was already happening, who you would be. Because what was happening in my life that made me a vibrational match to being able to manifest that was that I was pursuing other ways of doing exactly the same thing. And it was opening to possibilities, and I was stepping into them, and my physiology was a vibrational match to what I was doing. I was like just in the yes, I'm doing it. I would shoot forward into new projects and invite people into programs. And I created this whole thing that is Morter Institute today, just based on being the vibrational match of the next thing that would occur to me that would be beautiful and fun and amazing and of service to other people. And so it came, and it pulled me right through the threshold and right into that world that I was dreaming of in those early conversations. So I'm inviting you to do the same. You have to vibrate in your body at a cellular level at the same vibrational frequency that you would be vibrating if your dreams were already manifesting. It was already here upon you now. It was already happened and happening. And when you do, the threshold disappears and the possibility disappears because the actuality is here. And that's what we're here to learn to do. And I want to share with you that there is no better time of the year than for you to be doing that right now. Because during the holy days, the infinite possibility is bombarding you. There is such a refinement of light that is pouring upon you that it rearranges and changes these old patterns and habits so much more easily. So later tonight, after the master class, we're going to be doing a healing transmission, and it's going to be emphasizing and accentuating those vibrational frequencies. And I want you to get to know what they feel like so that you can dissolve the threshold. You can move beyond the threshold with ease and grace without even realizing it. There was zero effort in me planning that first beachfront destination. It just was the natural right next thing to do. And the people were there to fill the workshop because I was already allowing myself to be the vibrational match of that happening through every other little workshop I was doing and class I was teaching and working with my patients in different ways. I was stepping into that dream as if it was happening now, whether or not I ever went to a beachfront to do it. So don't be attached to the outcome, but do be embodying the vibrational frequency as if the outcome had already occurred, and watch what happens. It might look differently than you thought. It might show up in different ways than you thought, but the vibrational match is what it takes to move from the place of something great is about to happen to you actually spending your moments celebrating the fact that it is happening. I'm in great celebration with Morter Institute and everything that we are evolving into. I see this moment not as the last short answer. I see it as the beginning of many more of them, reaching many more people in the world. And I invite you to participate in that so that you can witness that transition that Morter Institute is going through so that you can implement that in your own life too. Everything that I do and everything that I bring is meant to be for you and also as an example for you to turn and do the same in your own lives. So I'm hoping that the short answer has been of service to you for some part, at least, of the last 10 years. And I know some of you have been around for all of those 10 years. And we're deeply appreciative of your participation in Morter Institute and your support of everything that you are participating in so that we can continue to bring these programs to people around the world for many, many years to come. So from the short answer, beginning to end, I remember the very first one was in the waiting room of my clinic, just trying to give some answers out there into the world. And we were streaming it in an entirely different way before anybody was on Zoom or doing Facebook. It wasn't even happening. It was a completely different situation. And here we are today, moving into a beautiful expression of growth. So thank you for being a part of our own growth and evolution. And we are definitely in service to the same happening for you. So blessings to you all. Thank you for being here in our final episode of The Short Answer. And we will see you on the Art of Awakening podcast often. Blessings to you all. Namaste.